I went back into nursing and really carried on doing what I was doing before the project. But when we moved to Oxford, we managed to buy somewhere with some land, and then we grew our own vegetables and kept our own animals for maybe 10 years.
And all of us kids are going to try and meet up as well at some point, did Mark say?
Yeah, that would be excellent. Yeah.
Mum and Dad brought us up on a little small holding, and so we kept sheep and chickens, pigs, geese, ducks. We had all kinds of animals around the place all the time, because I was just kind of outside quite a lot of the time, and I saw it as being a normal thing, which maybe other kids at school didn't. My brother Mark and I were always really keen on being out in the field, whittling sticks, as children like to do, and building little structures and having kind of camping Iron Age-y style games. It was only really when we got together with the other kids from the Iron Age group when we actually really identified it kind of verbally as being the Iron Age, and we would try and build a round house and kind of a bit fixated on trying to put bits of baler twine around various animals and bring them into the encampment and light fires, all that kind of stuff. I don't think I was brought up in an Iron Age-y kind of way, luckily. I just think that Mum and Dad had quite a relaxed, kind of outdoorsy, down-to-earth attitude towards us being kids, and that made a difference to us.
This is the issue of the Beano that we featured on the front cover, and it's rather wonderful because Dennis is saying, what a great series this Living Long Ago has turned out to be. Why don't we try living in the Iron Age? And Nasher comes running along holding an iron in his mouth, and Dennis says, that's not quite what I meant, Nasher. But they go on to realise that they'd actually be missing the Beano in the Iron Age, so they're chipping out a copy of the Beano on a lump of stone.
You just happen to have caught us doing some wattle and daubing today. What we're going to do is to cut some hazel fresh from the hedge and then mix up some daub. What I've got here is some clay that I prepared earlier, and it's got a lovely sticky consistency. And then here there's some cow manure, and I'm told that this makes the best daub. A friend told me that this is because cows have got 5 stomachs, and I'm not quite sure why, that would make a beautiful building material. This is some fibre to help to bind the straw here will help to bind it all up, and some hair. And this is all hair that we've collected from friends and relatives over the last couple of years. Just seems the right sort of thing to do to make the perfect daub. A good daub has to be done with bare feet, so I'm going to have to get in there and get this really nice and smooth.
Don't think there's room for me, is there, to join you in there? Time for the manure? Whatever it's called. Super stuff.
It's got that beautiful green smell to it now. Was there a formula for it, or was it just... We spent many happy hours mixing daub at the beginning of the project, and it really is a good material still today because it's flexible and it works in well with a timber frame.
It's good.
Good stuff, isn't it?
We are wattling and daubing the porch. We are keeping sheep. I grow vegetables. We could be doing all those things without having done the Iron Age, but that has given us a certain amount of skills which we have carried on. Pete likes to work with his hands. I like doing things with my hands in a practical way. And I think that, yes, that was useful in the Iron Age, but we still would have done that to some degree. And I think it's more difficult for us to see how Iron Age we are. You know, we haven't made a lot of money. That would have been useful.
I ended up picking up a job in computing with ICL, which was a bit of an anathema to me as a pure mathematician to work with computers. I worked there for just 3 years, and the opportunity came up to set up in business with a business partner. And in 1982, we formed Swift Computing. We've got some very high-profile clients, people like HSBC and B&Q and the AA. We've now got, in the whole group, probably 80 plus staff, and that keeps me fairly busy. It would appear that working in a high-tech environment is very different from working as an Iron Age man. But I would say that, you know, we are the same people. We are making best use of what we've got about us.
Good evening.
In the 90s, I was single, and I used to go to the Prom Bar with a good friend of mine, Nigel, a bird watcher. And one day he told me, this place is going to close. And I thought, that's a shame. We had a few pints. I said, well, perhaps I'll take it over. And I did. All of a sudden, I was the proud owner of a bar, which was a bit frightening. We have fantastic live music, and it's a great pleasure and a great relaxation for me.
You're wearing out the ground. You can't.
I don't take the view that I should live a primitive life, because I am an Iron Age man. I'm just 2,000 years later.
Your future's gonna be your past. Your future's gonna be your past.
We started having reunions on what had been the Iron Age festivals. We used to have, for instance, festival fires, and we used to spit roast animals every 3 months.
We still do this 30 years on. We still try and meet up about 4 times a year. I think one of the things that's kept that going is that we all like to do something, and we still do things together.
Are you going to close the door? Close the door.
Having lived in a communal environment, to suddenly be torn apart, if you like, was very difficult. We really, really missed the other members of the group, and that has resulted in lasting friendships where it feels like extended family. Anyone can get to know people that well living with them for a year and still stand you, you know they're good friends.
Not the same? I think looking back, I was very lucky to be part of that experiment. It's a shame that society has moved on to such an extent that you couldn't do that again today. We were very lucky to be part of that.
We'd had the privilege of living a different lifestyle completely, but without any of the drawbacks that there could have been if we'd been doing it by ourselves.
So what are you going to do then? You're just going to have solid bars alternating all the way up?
I am eternally grateful to John Percival for providing this opportunity to do such a satisfying thing.
But end it did. I set fire to it myself one spring day a few weeks after the group moved out. The landlord, who'd borne with us so patiently through nearly 15 months of disturbance of his estate, couldn't risk the quiet corner of the woods becoming a tourist trap. Burning seemed the best, the cleanest way for it all to end.
To have your say about tonight's programme or to sign up for our weekly newsletter, visit bbc.co.uk/BBC4. Next week on What Happened Next, revisiting Philip and Iris and the revolutionary treatments for autism they helped to pioneer. The Broken Bridge is next Tuesday at 9.